My name is Lindy Johnson, and I have worked in really kind of the broad, space of trauma, families and trauma. I've worked in the foster care space and the adoption space. I've worked in church communities who serve the foster adopt population within their community. I've also been able to work in the space of private practice, just doing counseling in general. Trauma in general is the reality of what's happening within our body in a moment, in an experience. This dysregulation of your system when you become so overwhelmed that you can't function the way you normally could due to a threat, whether an actual threat or a perceived threat of harm. We have to look at what's going on in the body. That's where trauma is stored. That's where it's activated. That's where it gets triggered. It's when the body is responding and you're not thinking about it, right? And so that's where we draw our attention to that. It's that survival response that we don't tell our body to turn on. We're saying yes to so many unknowns. And those unknowns are often these really big question marks, which represent a trauma history. Even if a child comes to our home with minimal trauma, they were still removed from the first family, the biological family, their original family. We don't know what was going on in utero, and we know enough to know that in utero experience absolutely impacts us throughout our lives. We don't know what their birth was like, what early hospitalization was like, or those first few days, weeks, months, years, however long their care was outside of our care or knowledge. So therefore, if I am the parent about to step into this, it would be a wise decision to learn as much as I can about trauma, about the brain, about behaviors, about attachment, about sensory needs, about like nutrition factors. When I'm talking about a trauma-informed lens, a lot of times it just means we're really attending to the heart of the child. We're looking at needs behind behaviors. We're learning what our stuff is to help myself regulate when this child, whether my biological child, a foster child, an adoptive child, however they've come to my family, I'm aware of what my stuff is in the ways that I'm parenting or interacting with this child. So a lot of the tools that really fall under kind of trauma aware, trauma informed, it actually just tends to be really beneficial for people because it's really mindful, right? It's kind of high in the emotional intelligence. It's high in connection. It's high in trust building, right? And trauma or not, it's actually good for all of us, right? We all benefit. So with a foster or adopt parenting story, we know we're going to need to equip ourselves with that. And the good news is it actually just kind of benefits everywhere else.